SWAT, an acronym for Special Weapons and Tactics, is the name of a specialized police unit in the United States. The world's first urban police tactical team emerged in the 1920s, known as the Armed Action Team of the Shanghai Municipal Police Force. In the late 19th to early 20th centuries, Shanghai became the most prosperous city in the Far East, with its most vibrant area being the international settlements. The most vibrant part of these settlements was the Public Concession. This city within a city, established and managed by businessmen, became a haven for adventurers and a paradise for traders. Countless fortunes gathered here, attracting people from all walks of life. However, along with the wealth and people, criminal elements, including gangs, emerged in this environment, causing unrest and chaos. To protect their interests, these outlaws were willing to commit dreadful acts. This put significant pressure on the Shanghai International Police. Aside from the gangs, another, even more menacing force was present in the Public Concession due to its unique political status. Many political figures from China operated there, and spies from around the world also gathered there, leading to many assassinations and kidnappings. Among the most dangerous figures were the secret operatives of the Communist Party, who referred to themselves as the Red Team. These core members received training from Soviet intelligence agencies, and these trained killers were even more dangerous than the gangs. Faced with these circumstances, the SMP detectives slowly developed ways to counter these challenges. One of the most successful figures among them was police officer William Ewart Fairbairn. He was British and had previously served in the Royal Marines. In 1907, he joined SMP and served for over 20 years. In his struggle against gangs and spies, he developed a comprehensive set of methods to deal with urban combat. He established a special tactical and weapons team, which was the first modern police tactical team in the true sense. He trained his team with special methods and developed many unique equipment items, including a bulletproof vest designed to withstand the 7.63 mm bullets fired from the popular Mauser pistols in Shanghai at the time. Apart from firearms, he also emphasized the use of other close combat weapons, including chairs and table legs. This was no joke. In a tavern, using a nearby chair to knock down an opponent might be more convenient than a pistol. Fairbairn's favorite weapon was the dagger. He believed that a dagger was even more dangerous in close combat than a pistol. He even developed a combat knife, which he co-designed with his colleague Sykes. This knife remains a favored combat knife among many professionals. After the outbreak of World War II, Fairbairn was recalled to the British Army, where he trained British commandos in close-quarters combat techniques and tactics. Many members of Special Operations Forces from the United States, Canada, and the UK were his students. Even British MI6 agents and American OSS agents received his training. The OSS was the precursor to the CIA. After World War II, Fairbairn retired as a lieutenant colonel and continued to train police forces in various countries. He played a role in establishing the Police Tactical Unit of the Singapore Police Force. In the late 1960s, the United States was going through a period of turmoil marked by events like the Vietnam War, the Civil Rights Movement, and a high rise in drug-related crime and firearms proliferation. This made it difficult for the U.S. police to handle the increasing number of violent incidents. Some high-ranking law enforcement officials began considering new strategies. In 1965, the Watts riots erupted in Los Angeles. This massive upheaval, triggered by a traffic incident, forced the state government to deploy 14,000 National Guardsmen to quell the situation in the Los Angeles area. The entire event resulted in 34 deaths. In the aftermath, Daryl Gates, a senior officer of the Los Angeles Police Department, believed that the existing officers did not have sufficient capabilities to respond to sudden incidents, causing minor cases to escalate into large-scale riots. Consequently, he deemed it necessary to establish a new team composed of specially trained officers equipped with special weapons. This marked the initial concept of SWAT. The significant turning point for the SWAT concept's adoption came in 1966 with the University of Texas Tower shooting in Austin. On August 1, 1966, a shocking event known as the Texas Tower Sniper Incident occurred that sent shockwaves throughout the United States. A student at the University of Texas positioned himself atop the tower on the Austin campus and used a sniper rifle to indiscriminately fire upon pedestrians on the streets below. This tragic incident resulted in the deaths of over 10 individuals, including a pregnant woman, and left more than 30 others injured. Over several hours during which the crime unfolded, the local law enforcement's response was inadequate and failed to promptly halt the criminal activity. This event had a profound impact on the law enforcement community in the United States. Daryl Gates's concept eventually garnered support from higher authorities, leading to the establishment of the first-ever SWAT team in the United States by the Los Angeles Police Department. John Nelson became the inaugural commander, overseeing a team composed of 59 volunteers, most of whom were veterans of the Korean and Vietnam Wars. During that time, the team operated under modest conditions. It is said that they even searched for usable weapons from confiscated gangster armaments. Their first transport vehicle was a second-hand red cargo truck, which the team members repainted black. This iconic moment marked the birth of the renowned SWAT unit. The early days of SWAT were marked by several notable operations. On December 8, 1969, LAPD's SWAT conducted a raid on the headquarters of the Black Panther Party located on 41st Street in Los Angeles. The Black Panther Party had engaged in multiple armed confrontations with law enforcement. This raid marked SWAT's first encounter with the Black Panther Party and its initial large-scale deployment. A total of 350 police officers surrounded 13 Black Panther Party members, leading to a fierce exchange of gunfire. The two sides fired over 5,000 rounds of ammunition, with reports indicating that many SWAT members ran out of ammunition and had to request resupply from the police station. Despite the intensity of the gunfire, no fatalities occurred during the operation. Only 4 police officers and 6 Black Panther Party members sustained injuries. Ultimately, through negotiations, the operation concluded with the surrender of the Black Panther Party members. On May 17, 1974, LAPD's SWAT conducted another major operation, this time targeting members of the left-wing urban guerrilla group known as the Symbionese Liberation Army, SLA. After committing a kidnapping, several SLA members were hiding in a residential area on Compton Avenue in Los Angeles. Tracked down by the police, SWAT surrounded the house, leading to a fierce gun battle between the two sides. After several hours of intense fighting, tear gas deployed by SWAT triggered a fire. Despite the fire engulfing the house, the SLA members refused to surrender and continued to engage in gunfire until the blaze consumed the entire building. All 6 besieged SLA members perished, while no law enforcement officers were injured. From the above 2 cases, it can be seen that the early SWAT teams did not possess mature tactics and training, let alone advanced skills in close-quarters battle, and their approaches often resembled street combat tactics, involving the excessive firing of thousands of rounds of ammunition. However, as SWAT operations continued, corresponding tactics gradually evolved, developing techniques and weaponry suitable for urban combat. Over time, SWAT teams played an increasingly significant role in crime suppression, leading to the establishment of SWAT units in various police departments across the United States. Another factor that contributed to the progress of SWAT was the influence of European counterparts. During the late 1960s to the 1980s, under the influence of Soviet intelligence agencies, far-left guerrilla organizations were active in Europe, causing headaches for governments across the continent. Consequently, many European countries established special police units to counter these urban guerrilla groups. The British SAS, Special Air Service, renowned for its post-World War II operations in the Middle East, in Jerusalem, Egypt, India, Malaya, Africa, and Northern Ireland, accumulated extensive experience in urban warfare. Consequently, several European nations sought assistance from SAS when creating their special police units. American law enforcement also continuously learned from their European counterparts' tactics and equipment. During this period, the American SWAT teams shed their initial inexperience and entered a phase of growth and maturity. Early SWAT units primarily used the standard M16 rifle as their main weapon. However, the M16's length was not ideal for CQB scenarios. Additionally, the prevailing viewpoint at the time was that military rifle ammunition was excessive for police operations. As a result, Many SWAT teams followed the example of their European counterparts and adopted the German HK-MP5 series submachine guns as their primary weapons. The HK-MP5 was renowned for its reliability, balance, and accurate firing. This firearm remains in the arsenal of many SWAT teams today and is still used for specific missions. However, after the 1990s, criminals started using more powerful military-grade weapons, and high-level ballistic protection became readily available. This shift led to submachine guns firing 9 handgun rounds becoming less effective. For instance, the 1994 North Hollywood shootout highlighted this limitation. During the Vietnam War, the development of short carbines firing 5.56 mm rifle rounds had matured, and they were extensively used in military operations during the 1990s. As a result of the military surplus transfer through the 1033 program, a significant number of these carbines were transferred to law enforcement agencies. Firearms like the ATM-4 became the mainstream weapons for SWAT teams. The substantial market within American law enforcement also prompted manufacturers to develop a multitude of carbines and submachine guns tailored for urban combat. SWAT teams mainly utilize handguns provided by their respective police departments, with each department equipping different handguns based on their budget and procurement preferences. Notably, the renowned LAPD SWAT has maintained the use of the classic 1911 handgun since its inception, a tradition that continues to this day. Many SWAT teams also include shotguns in their arsenal, with their Remington 870 pump-action shotgun being one of the most common choices. A typical SWAT assault team operates in groups of 5 members. The foremost member is the scout, equipped with standard weaponry as well as a reconnaissance optic. Positioned at room corners and doorways, the scout observes the corridors and the rooms to be attacked, identifying potential traps and eliminating them. The scout communicates findings to teammates using simple signals and gestures, assisting the team leader in formulating the attack plan. Following the scout is the shield operator, armed with a ballistic shield and a handgun. Their role involves being the first to enter a room upon breaching, acting as a shield against the enemy's primary firepower in the fatal funnel, thus safeguarding other team members during the subsequent assault. Behind the shield operator are 2 assaulters. In practice, during an assault, the scout also transitions into an assaulter. Positioned opposite the shield operator, the scout often throws non-lethal grenades upon breaching the door. The 3 assaulters closely followed the shield operator into the room, flanking the shield and scanning blind spots on both sides. According to pre-designated zones, they clear targets within their assigned areas. Hence, the relationship between the shield operator and the assaulters demands absolute trust and seamless coordination. In the 2015 Paris supermarket hostage crisis, French special police officers attempted an assault. The shield operator led the entry, but due to intense enemy gunfire, the following teammates hesitated and didn't advance. Consequently, only the shield operator and an assailant with an AK-47 entered the supermarket. Fortunately, the assailant surrendered later. However, from a technical standpoint, this assault was unsuccessful. The final position within the SWAT team formation is occupied by the breacher. The breacher's responsibility involves, as the name suggests, breaching doors. For standard doors, a battering ram is often used. In the case of sturdier doors or doors that open outward, a shotgun loaded with breaching rounds is employed. The breaching shotgun is essentially a regular shotgun firing steel slugs to shatter locks. To contain bullet fragments, a steel cage attachment is affixed to the muzzle, which is then pressed against the lock to fire. Sometimes, both the lock and door frame are shot to remove the entire door. When faced with exceptionally fortified steel security doors, the breacher may employ C4 explosives for breaching. Naturally, they also carry a lockpick for covert entry, if necessary. Once the breach is made, the breacher quickly moves aside to create a pathway for other team members to deploy non-lethal grenades and initiate the assault. The breacher then moves to the rear of the team, becoming the last to enter the room. In actual operations, assault teams are often composed of more than 5 members, with the commander adjusting the team's composition according to the situation on site. However, The team's roles and functions remain consistent with the classic five-member structure. After the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks, the United States began its war on terror, employing special operations forces extensively in urban counterterrorism. The military's advancements in CQB tactics and weaponry influenced SWAT units. Through programs like the 1033 program, the U.S. Department of Defense transferred substantial counterterrorism equipment to local police departments, ranging from helmets to armored vehicles. Furthermore, many former special operations soldiers joined law enforcement agencies after their military service, enhancing the professionalism and capabilities of SWAT teams. However, this trend also resulted in a more militarized approach. While this enhanced the ability of SWAT to combat crime effectively, concerns also emerged about the potential for excessive police power to harm civil society. Nevertheless, SWAT has become an indispensable component of law enforcement agencies across the United States.